Okay, so today we are starting with the demo class. Okay, for Palo Alto Firewall.
Yeah.
Now, before we start, let's start with what is firewall. What do you know about firewall?
Yes, it's blocking the unwanted traffic.
Uh-huh.
The firewall is simply a device which blocks the unwanted traffic and which allows the wanted traffic. And we can write the some of the policies to our in the firewall so that the which traffic has to go through the network and which has to be dropped.
Right. So basically, what our firewall will do, if you have a firewall, okay, what you can do is you can prevent unauthorized access. Let's say there are some hackers which is connected with the internet, right? And you have one firewall with this firewall is connected with your LAN network. Okay.
Yes.
Now, to avoid those type of hackers and uh, unauthorized users access to our internal network, we are going to put one firewall, and this firewall works on the basis of some policies,
Yes.
right? Policy, or we can call it rules, right?
Yes.
So, if policy says this user is allowed, then simply your firewall going to pass this traffic. If your policy deny a traffic for a specific user or a specific subnet or maybe specific people on the world which is connected with the internet, they are that is denied by your firewall. Why? Just because of this policy. So
Because of
basically, if I talk about a router, in router you have something called routing table,
yes.
correct?
Yes.
So on the your router takes all the routing decision by looking at routing table, correct?
Yes.
Because routing table contains the best path to reach a particular
The
destination.
shortest path will be available in the routing table.
Yes, correct. So same goes for the firewall. In firewall, we have some policy and rules. If policy allows a spam traffic, your firewall will definitely allow it. Okay. So that's a policy-based device, I would say. Okay. In short, if I show you the definition, what is firewall? So this is what we call in it. So in computing, a firewall is a network security system that monitor and controls
Incoming.
incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predefined or predetermined
Yes.
security rules. Okay. A firewall typically establish a barrier between trusted and untrusted network, means LAN and WAN network, such as the internet,
Yes.
right? Now, moving to the next point, types of firewall.
Yes.
So how many types of firewalls we have?
The firewall things like FortiGate, Cisco, Palo Alto. We are talking about these types, some other types.
Whatever you know, just tell me. No
Yeah,
problem.
it's the Palo Alto, FortiGate, Cisco.
Hmm. Cisco, correct. So basically, we have two types of firewall. Okay.
Yes.
You are also right. I am not saying you are wrong. Okay. Software firewalls, and we have some hardware firewalls which are acting as a dedicated box. Like as you told me that Palo Alto, FortiGate, they are having a separate box, and these firewalls called comes under the category of this hardware firewall. Okay.
It all comes under the hardware firewall.
Yeah. This Palo Alto, FortiGate, Cisco, Checkpoint is also there. Okay.
Yes, yes.
These all comes into the hardware firewall category. Now, the next one is software firewall.
Yes.
Software firewall is present in your this Windows. Okay. This firewall is your Windows Defender firewall. This is your
Yeah, it's a
Software firewall.
OS dependent firewall. We call it as a software firewall. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
So
yes.
with these software firewalls as well, you can create inbound and outbound rules. You can control inside the traffic which is leaving to your computer and which is coming towards your computer. You can control all of those type of traffics. Even you can block port, you can block any particular application, you can
It's
perform
the
all those things.
antivirus or something.
Uh-huh. Antivirus?
It comes under a software firewall or
No,
antivirus of the system.
no. And like features like antivirus, anti-spyware, okay, wildfire, these all features comes under your hardware firewall,
Yes, yes.
right? Nowadays, whenever your hardware firewall receive any traffic, right, my firewall, this hardware firewall going to perform few of the inspections. Okay.
Yes.
Now, in short, if I tell you, there is some word called
IT.
IPS and IDS. Okay. So IPS and IDS includes all type of content ID, content ID type of feature. We'll discuss in it in detail. Okay. Later on when we'll move to that part. Okay.
The content ID is nothing but the URL of that website or something else.
No, no, no.
It's
Actually,
the,
there are bunch of services.
yeah.
So which comes under this content ID or IPS IDS. IPS is intrusion prevention system. Okay. And the IDS is intrusion detection system. So what intrusion detection system will do, it will only detect the malware, virus or spyware. Okay.
Okay.
And prevention system is going to take next section, means how we are going to prevent our network from this type of attack or virus, right? So we'll discuss in detail. There are not only two features we have in this IPS IDS or content ID.
Yes.
Okay, URL filtering is very common one. Okay, but like antivirus, anti spyware, file blocking. If you have heard about wildfire, and there are few more uh, features we have like data filtering. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
file blocking, vulnerability protection. These all are part of your IPS and IDS, or you would say content ID or content,
Yes.
right? Now, moving to the next part, if I talk about a normal thing, like, right, like, let me give you one example. Maybe if you have already gone through with few of my videos, you may have seen this example. Uh, so my simple question is, why don't we use routers instead of firewall? Why we require firewall?
The, the main functionality of the router is to find the shortest path, and it will not block the unwanted traffic to the network, right? Am I right?
No, no. Whatever you know, just speak. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Whether you are saying
The
wrong,
router
no
it's
problem.
only the it specifies the path to which the network has to go in the shortest path.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the firewall it blocks the unwanted traffic. Uh,
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. So, my question was why we required a firewall to prevent unauthorized access. You are right. If I put firewall, my firewall also has a routing table. So
yes,
why we don't put firewall and connect with the best path? It can also perform routing thing.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So let me tell you why we required firewall, why we are not able to use a router in our network, why we required a firewall. Okay. Let us understand this. So let's say you have a small company. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Now in that small company, you guys are using router to connect with the internet.
yes, yes.
On internet, we have one server. Okay. This router is connected with our LAN,
Okay.
and this LAN is connected with our
Yes,
few of the PCs or desktops. Okay.
yes,
Now, Now there are two requirements for every company, right? So this is your inside, or I would say trust interface, or your trusted network, right? And this is your untrusted network, right? This side untrusted, and this is your trusted network. Now, so there are two requirements generally a company always have, right? The first requirement is they want to communicate with the internet, right? It
Yeah.
means they want communication from trust to untrust, right? They want communication, correct?
Yes.
Because they are going to access multiple servers over the internet, and they may require they may have to download few of the things, few official things from internet. Okay, so they require internet. Second requirement is we want to protect our LAN network,
Yes.
right, from unwanted people, or maybe uh, unauthorized people, or spyware, viruses, and all, correct?
Yes.
It means the second condition is untrust
That's
untrust to trust traffic should be denied. This is my requirement, right? So if I am putting a router here instead of a firewall,
okay.
how we are going to block a traffic? Do you know about ACL?
Yes, I know that. What is ACL? In-depth knowledge I have. I don't know.
Uh-huh. So ACL we can configure on a router to to block a specific traffic.
Okay.
Okay, means we can block a specific IP. Let's say 10.1.1.1. Okay, /24. This is specific IP. Even you can block a specific subnet.
Yeah.
Okay, you can block port number 22, 23, whatever the port number you want to block. Okay, you can perform these all things with the ACL. Clear?
Yeah.
Now the to complete our first requirement means to get internet access, to provide internet access to trust users, we have to configure NAT on our
Firewall or router.
router.
Yeah.
Okay, now after configuring NAT, my users these users would be able to connect with the internet, correct?
Yes.
Now I'm done with my first condition.
Yes.
Second condition is untrust to trust. Okay, now untrust to trust, I want to block traffic from untrusted users. So let's say here we have some untrusted network, and here we have some users E, F, G. Okay, and this is S. So I don't want all of them to access my internal LAN. Maybe in our internal LAN we have some servers. Okay, and these servers contain some sensitive information which I don't want anyone to access. Right?
Yes.
So on router we only have one thing called ACL, access control list.
Yes.
Through access control list, we can block a specific IP, okay, a specific port, a specific subnet. This is what only we can do with the ACL, not more than that. So let's say this user has IP of 11.1.1.1/24. This user using IP address 21.21.21.1. Okay. Now this user using IP address is 192.168.100.20. Okay, and the server IP address is 4.4.4.4. Clear? Now you only have one way means you are going to configure ACL on this router, and you are going to tell that please block 4.4.4.4, please block 11.1.1.1, please block 21.21.21.1 and 192.168.100.20. So we are going to specify users, correct?
Yes.
The ACL, so that we can block all of them to come our inside network.
Yes.
Right? But over the internet we have lakhs of IPs.
Yes.
So if I create ACL entries for lakhs of IPs, my router won't be able to handle those entries because it has very less memory, right?
Yes. Yes.
And definitely your processing uh, to manage those routes, we also required a uh, higher memory, right? Higher RAM requirement. Also there we required a higher CPU, right? Which is not possible to store for this router because this is not a ISP router. This is a normal branch router. On branch, generally we use some small series of router, correct?
Yes.
A low series of router because we only wants to communicate. Uh, we only want internet connection for these 4 users. So why should I buy a higher end router? I'll buy a small router for my company, right? And this router don't have capability to block all of the traffic, correct?
Yeah, for the limited users and for the limited segments, you can go with the router.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you are having it to block the whole unknown IPs or unknown subnet mask, you can use, in that case you can use the firewall.
Mhm. Right. So you need a firewall, right?
Yes.
So with the ACL, one more thing you can do, you can deny all traffic by putting this command, deny any. If you put this command on this interface, everything would be denied.
It will be dropped at this point.
Yes, everything would be dropped. But the problem is, do you know three-way handshake?
Yes.
Okay. So if let's say if this user A try to perform three-way handshake with this server, the reverse packet would be dropped. So the first packet this user will send packet.
All the packet will be dropped. Simple as
Yes.
that.
When the send plus act comes here, it will match this deny any policy and it will drop then and there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It means your first condition also you are not able to fulfill it.
Yes. Yes. That's to understand.
Yeah. So my router performs static filtering. If you configure ACL on router, it performs static filtering. Okay. Now, static filtering performed by your router. So, router is a stateless device.
Yes.
Your router is a stateless device. Now, let me put firewall instead of router. This is your firewall. We have a LAN users. Okay. Now, let's be one of the server. Okay. Now your firewall is a stateful device. Stateful device. Okay. Now let me tell you how it works. Okay. Now two condition: trust to untrust, allowed, untrust to trust should be denied. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now we have firewall. Okay, now this user, let's say this user tries to communicate with this server. Okay, we are going to configure NAT for this internet communication
Yes,
to
sir.
fulfill my first requirement.
Mm.
Second requirement is untrust to trust. Okay, so let's say user A sent one SYN packet towards the server. Okay, so whenever a user which is sitting on inside sends any type of traffic from inside to outside, my firewall going to maintain a table. Yes, table. The table name is connection table, or we can call it session table. Okay, connection table or session table, which is maintained by our firewall, and this table is not maintained by your router. Clear? Now on this interface we have denied all traffic, every traffic. Okay, we have blocked all traffic for all the users. Clear?
Yes, yes.
We have created a rule and denied all the traffic coming from this untrusted interface. Now my firewall maintaining this connection table. In this connection table, my firewall will make an entry. Okay, let's say we have 10.1 IP and this server IP address is 4.4. Okay, so my connection table will make an entry like 10.1 going towards 4.4 with the SYN packet. It will create an entry like
Yes.
that. Okay,
We'll
now
have a database in the table of connection table.
what?
Yeah, if the SYN packet just goes to the outside untrusted network, it
Hmm,
will have a one entry in the table. Right?
correct. So when the SYN plus ACK comes from the server, the traffic will reach here on untrusted
If
interface.
they are
And
not, if the entry is there, it will go through the
yes,
trusted network.
yes, correct. So now when you receive traffic on untrusted interface, my firewall will check connection table. If entry is there, it will simply pass the traffic to user A.
Yes.
If there is no entry available, let's say we have a hacker connected over the internet, and if this hacker try to send SYN or SYN plus ACK, it would be denied here on this
So
firewall.
we did not find any database in the
Yes,
connection.
yes, there is no entry available for this user. That is why we'll simply drop it. Okay.
Yes.
So this is your stateful firewall behavior. This behavior called
Yes.
stateful. Stateful means we are maintaining a state, and router is a stateless.
Yes.
No state maintained by your router. Okay, it will not maintain any kind of state. Whatever means whosoever going outside, inside, that doesn't matter for a router. It will simply route the traffic. Okay. Now, if I talk about few of the features of my Palo Alto firewall, in my Palo Alto firewall, we have few features like we can deploy this firewall in layer 2 environment as well. Okay, let's say you have two switches. Between those two switches, you can put firewall.
Okay.
So that is called layer 2 deployment, or generally people understand it with the name of transparent mode.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
Transparent.
if there is two networks, if you place a firewall in between, it will be a layer two.
Sorry.
Yeah. if you are having the two networks like L1 and L2 are the two networks, if you
Yes.
place a firewall in between that,
Yes.
then we call it as a layer 2.
Yes. No, we can configure a port in 5 modes in this firewall.
Yes,
Okay, not like a router. Let's say if this is your firewall, we can configure this port. We have 5 modes available in firewall. This Palo Alto firewall.
yes, L1,
So
L2.
uh, let's say this is my diagram. So this port is connected with the LAN.
Yes,
So we can make this interface as a layer 2, and this side is connected with the internet. So we can configure it as a layer 3, and my firewall will simply start forwarding traffic. If you want, you can configure this as a layer 3 as well.
yes,
No problem. Okay. So there are 5 type of interface configuration we have in this Palo Alto firewall. Not like a router. In router, we have only one type of configuration. Simply we can put IP, but in firewall, a single interface acting uh, uh, in 5 different ways. Okay, so this is one of the feature my firewall having. Apart from that, there is something called wildfire. Okay, wildfire we can discuss. Not right now. Uh, in other firewalls, the same feature called with another name, sandboxing. Okay.
the Wi-Fi.
So in Palo Alto firewall, the connection table called as connection table. Okay.
Yes,
In Cisco ASA firewall, we call it xlate table. Xlate table. Okay. And
explain.
yes, and command is show xlate. This is the command to see connection table, or to check connection you can type show con. This is the Cisco ASA command to check connection table. Here we can also do that. Okay. Now let me quickly move you to go through with the syllabus. What will cover during the classes. Okay. So the duration for this batch, as you know, this will take 4 to 6 weeks, and if we take 5 classes in a week, that would be very enough. Okay,
Yes,
very easily we are able to means complete the syllabus within 4 to 6 weeks. Six
yes,
weeks, 6 weeks is the maximum time,
yes,
I would say, because sometime after, let's say we have completed course early, right, within 4 to 4 weeks. So in last 2 weeks, you may have to revise the complete videos or syllabus. Then we'll arrange a troubleshooting session or maybe an interview session, right? So that you will you will get answers of your query. Okay. So now,
yes,
so total this syllabus includes 54 points.
yes,
Uh, I'll be keep on adding few more points in that. So maybe around it may become around 60 points, but as of now, this is 54 today. I'll be adding few more topics, which is
yes,
important one. And one more thing about this syllabus, actually I've designed this syllabus according to job requirement, right? Because
yes,
generally people, why people are looking for upgrade, right? So they generally looking for upgrade. They want to learn this firewall just to get a good job, right?
yes,
So this is how I designed this syllabus. Otherwise, if I follow Palo Alto syllabus, in Palo Alto they have 2 certifications. Okay, one is PCNSA, and another one is PCNSE, which is this is expert level, and this is administrator level. Okay, so Palo Alto Certified Network System Administrator, Palo Alto Certified Network System Expert.
yes.
Okay, this is your expert level. So I'll be combining, let's say in app ID. Okay,
Yes.
generally most of the companies using this app ID feature. So I'll
Yes.
be covering this feature till expert level.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's say URL filtering, just 2 steps required. So don't need to learn this on till expert level. Actually, there are only 2-4 options available. That's it.
Yes.
So no requirement. Okay. Otherwise, you would be easily able to, if you go for certification, you would be able to perform this certification as well. Okay. Means clear this certification as well after this course if you are going for certification. Okay. Now, if I talk about the deployment, how we are going to deploy our firewall. So basically, we are going to use this VMware workstation, and we'll install firewall in this VMware. Okay. So I've already configured it, and let me log into this firewall. So this is your management interface IP. Just I want to check this out. Okay, 200. So basically, in this course, we'll be covering GUI as well as CLI. Okay.
Okay.
If you have seen YouTube, most of the people only covered through GUI. Okay.
Yes.
But as you know, I have worked on these firewalls, and still in my present project, we are managing around 400 pair of Palo Alto firewalls. We are having 4 panoramas and all. So
You are including the panorama also in these sessions?
yes, Panorama has a different syllabus, not this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn, you can let me know. After this course, we can start with Panorama if you want.
Yeah, the panorama is only the managing the all the firewalls, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That provides centralized management.
Yeah, centralized management of all the Palo Alto firewalls.
Yes, correct, correct. Right. Means with Panorama, we can deploy policies to multiple firewalls. Okay.
Yeah, at a time.
At a time. You're correct. You can create multiple NAT policies. You can create objects. So
And
Panorama also works as a log collector for all firewalls. Let's say you have 100 firewall connected synchronized with Panorama. So Panorama going to uh, save all the logs from those. It will act as a syslog server, I would say,
yeah,
right? If you want, you can configure it as a log collector.
yeah.
Okay. Now this is our firewall GUI. Okay. So if I talk about a few more things on this GUI, this is you are on dashboard tab. Okay. On dashboard, if you see, this is your device name. Okay. General information, device name. This is your management IP, management net mask, default gateway. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is your link local IPv6 IP. This is your model number, firewall model number. Serial number we don't have because this is demonstration firewall, not registered one. Once you get it registered, you will get a serial number from Palo Alto.
The register means it's a license, right?
Yes, license, correct. Okay. Now this is your software version. Okay. And uptime. Um, this is your time, firewall time. Okay.
Yes.
It's configured on this firewall. Your management CPU, data plane CPU, session count. We'll discuss everything in detail.
Yes.
If I talk about policies, you can see we have few of the policies there. Okay, no policy is there. Okay, so with this demonstration firewall, we can create policy. As I told you, we can create policy
Yes.
very easily. Okay, we can Let me give you example. Let's say one policy is for inside to outside. Source is inside and destination is outside. Action is allowed. See, we can create policies, security policy, NAT policy, quality of service, all those things. We can create objects, right? We can configure everything in this firewall. We can create security profiles like antivirus. So these security profiles are part of content ID, anti-spyware, vulnerability protection, URL filtering, file blocking, wildfire analysis. Even you can perform routing with this firewall. There is one function called virtual router. Okay. So this firewall also maintain a routing table. Here it is. You can see that this is our destination. So this is basically a default route uh, towards my exit interface. ETH1/1 is my exit interface.
Yes.
This is my next stop IP address. Okay, so we can perform routing. We can configure RIP in this firewall. We can configure OSPF, BGP, multicasting, VFD summary. We can perform all those tasks
Yes.
with this firewall. Clear? We can create VLANs. We can even create VPN tunnels, IPsec tunnels. Everything is there in this firewall. So any more question you want to ask me?
Yeah.
Uh,
After the completion of 4 to 6 weeks, at that time, am I capable of attending interest to the 4 to 6 years? If I keep the experience of 4 to 6 years, am I capable to clear the interview
okay,
based on our sessions?
is our session.
Or anything more how to cover
Mhm.
in between?
Okay. So sorry, I was talking on mute. So as you are saying that you have total 8 year of experience, right? So with 8 year of experience, you can expect at least 10 plus, 10 lakhs plus of package, right? If you want to do more research on it, you can visit Naukri.com. On Naukri.com, you would be able to find so many jobs related to Palo Alto, right? Now, the next thing is if you have basic understanding about CCNA, right? That would be very easier, not very easier, but yes, few of the topics, few of the Palo Alto firewall related topics are uh, similar to that CCNA. Like for example, we have NAT in CCNA, that is very basic NAT, but in Palo Alto firewall we have multiple type of NAT like source NAT, destination NAT, and U-turn NAT. Okay, U-turn NAT is one of the feature which is not available on this CCNA part, right? So if you have CCNA knowledge, that would be added as an advantage. If you don't have a CCNA knowledge, what you will do is side by side you can start your CCNA, and I'll provide you few of the documentation. Like we just required basic knowledge like OSI model. Okay, we required knowledge of NAT, ACL, and apart from that TCP. Okay, TCP and IP related knowledge. Okay, just basic knowledge we required before we uh, enroll for this course, right? So for to know more about this course, you can WhatsApp me on this number. Okay, Okay, so this is my number. You can contact me. You can WhatsApp me, please, guys. Don't call me on this number. Okay, just ping me on WhatsApp. I'll get back to you. Okay. Now, for any other query, you can contact me. Correct. So I think that's all for the day from my side in this demonstration class. Okay, with the Palo Alto. And if you want, I'll attach this syllabus file, and I'll provide you the link in description. Right, you can download this syllabus file from there. I think that's all for the day from my side. If you have any query, you can drop a comment. Yeah, thank you.